Welcome to new video 2025. The Austin Allegro is an iconic British car from the 1970s and early 1980s, known for its quirky design and unique place in automotive history. Manufactured by British Leyland between 1973 and 1982, the Allegro was intended to replace the popular Austin 1100 and 1300 range, despite its goal to modernize and compete with European rivals. The Allegro faced criticism and mixed reviews for design choices and reliability issues, making it a memorable but often polarizing model in the world of classic cars. Design and exterior. The Austin Allegro's design, created by Harris Mann, was considered unconventional and even controversial at the time. Mann had envisioned a sleek, futuristic look, but constraints on time and budget led to modifications that significantly altered his original vision. The Allegro ended up with a more rounded, bulbous shape, which some critics described as bread loaf or flying pig. The exterior was compact, with a boxy frame that gave it a slightly awkward profile, especially when compared to more streamlined cars of the time. One of the most memorable aspects of the Allegro's design is its Cortex steering wheel. This square-like, four-sided steering wheel was intended to make it easier for the driver to get in and out of the car while also enhancing legroom. Unfortunately, it was met with confusion and some ridicule by the public and reviewers, who found it unconventional and difficult to get used to. Despite this feature being phased out in later models, it remains one of the most iconic details associated with the Allegro's interior and has since become a symbol of the car's quirky, unique charm. Interior and comfort. Stepping inside the Austin Allegro reveals an interior that reflects the era's design sensibilities, along with a few unexpected twists. The cabin was relatively spacious for a small family car, especially considering its compact exterior dimensions. British Leyland aimed to provide a comfortable and practical environment for the driver and passengers, with ample headroom and decent legroom in both the front and rear seats. The seats were padded and upholstered with fabric or vinyl, depending on the model variant and trim level. They offered reasonable comfort for short commutes, although they lacked the plush feel and adjustability seen in modern cars. The dashboard layout of the Allegro was basic but functional. The instrument cluster was simple, featuring an analog speedometer and a few gauges for essentials like fuel and temperature. Later models also incorporated some additional indicators, but overall, the dashboard was straightforward and minimalistic, with a design that aimed more for functionality than flair. The interior trim materials were largely plastic, which was typical for cars of this class and era. While the materials did not feel particularly high-end, they were durable and relatively easy to clean. One significant point of debate among drivers was the Allegro's seating position. The seat height and pedal arrangement meant that some found the driving position awkward, particularly taller individuals who had difficulty finding a comfortable setup. This ergonomic challenge was not entirely unique to the Allegro, but it became one of the criticisms that drivers often mentioned. Technology and features. In terms of technology, the Austin Allegro was equipped with basic features that met the standards of the 1970s but were sparse by today's expectations. Higher trim levels included a basic AM/FM radio and, in some models, a cassette player, which was a luxury addition at the time. Heating and ventilation were controlled via simple sliders, and the Allegro came with an optional heated rear window, a practical feature that was appreciated in colder climates. The Allegro lacked advanced safety features, as it was developed before the advent of modern airbags or anti-lock braking systems, ABS. However, British Leyland did take steps to reinforce the Allegro's body to improve crashworthiness. The car featured crumple zones in the front, which were designed to absorb some of the impact in a collision. Despite these efforts, safety was not a strong suit for the Allegro compared to modern standards. The Allegro also lacked power steering, which made maneuvering in tight spaces a bit more challenging, particularly with the unique Cortex steering wheel in earlier models. Some drivers found this steering wheel cumbersome, and many saw it as more of a novelty than a practical feature. Later models did revert to a more conventional round steering wheel, in response to customer feedback. Driving experience and performance. Under the hood, the Austin Allegro came with a variety of engine options, ranging from a 1.1-liter to a 1.7-liter engine. The car was front-wheel drive, which was still somewhat novel at the time and helped improve interior space and handling. The engines, mostly four-cylinder units, were developed to deliver modest power and fuel economy suitable for a family car, but they weren't particularly lively. The base 1.1-liter engine produced around 45 horsepower, while the 1.7-liter option offered a bit more power, making the Allegro better suited for highway driving. The Allegro's ride quality was fairly smooth for a car of its class, largely due to its hydrogas suspension system, which used fluid-filled displacers instead of conventional springs. This system, shared with the larger Austin Maxi, provided a cushioned ride that was softer than many competitors. However, the hydrogas system also added complexity and required maintenance, which became an issue for owners as the cars aged. Handling was reasonable for city driving, but the Allegro was not known for sporty performance. Its front-wheel drive setup offered decent traction, and the car's low curb weight contributed to maneuverability. However, the steering was often criticized for being vague, especially at higher speeds, which could make highway driving feel a bit uncertain. Legacy and cultural impact. The Austin Allegro is often remembered for its peculiarities rather than its performance or reliability. In many ways, it has become a symbol of the British car industry's struggles during the 1970s. British Leyland was facing financial difficulties and production issues, which led to inconsistent quality control and reliability problems with the Allegro. Issues like rust, electrical faults, and suspension problems plagued the model, leading to a reputation for poor reliability. Despite its flaws, the Allegro has gained a cult following in recent years. Classic car enthusiasts are drawn to its unique design, and its quirks have made it a popular subject at car shows and among collectors of British cars from the era. The Allegro's distinct Britishness has made it an enduring symbol of 1970s automotive culture in the UK, and its somewhat infamous reputation has only added to its charm. Today, the Austin Allegro is cherished by a small but dedicated group of collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate its eccentricities. While it may not have been the success that British Leyland had hoped for, the Allegro holds a unique place in the history of British cars. It represents a time when the UK's car industry was experimenting with new ideas and struggling to keep up with international competitors, and it has become a nostalgic reminder of an era that was as challenging as it was innovative. In retrospect, the Austin Allegro's combination of unconventional design, budget-friendly production, and spirited British character has made it more than just a car. It is a cultural icon, remembered not for perfection but for personality.